Hi, Heather. How's it going?
Hey, Starlight. Hello, CNN members. Excited for 2022?
Yes, excited, big time.
We have so much going on, Starlight. I'm like, where do we begin? Where do we begin?
Let's start with Happy New Year, everybody. Um, wow, what a crazy winter. Omicron is going nuts. Our hearts are going out to everybody who's working on the front line right now. This is just a reminder collectively to be focusing on your self care and tapping out when you need to do what you need to, because it's just kind of a wild time for everybody in the world right now. That being said, there's also the flip side of that coin, which is it seems like everybody is just motivated AF to make some things happen this year. And Heather and I with CNN are absolutely no exception to that. And so, Happy New Year. We can't wait to learn more about what you have planned this year. Just something that's coming up real shortly. Next week, we are running the CNN Members Masterclass on the step-by-step guide on how to be a cannabis nurse. If you are a member, you got this, but you also know this is where we open the doors to our membership and bring in a bunch of new members. So we invite you, if you're an existing member, to really open your arms and embrace the newbies who will be joining us at the end of next week and into the end of January. The end of January will have an acceleration week again, where we've got presentations from a lot of our different members, helping our new members ramp up in their journey becoming a cannabis nurse, and also inviting them and making them a part of this new community. But we also are making this recording public to everybody. So if there's people that you know who have either become disenchanted with their job or have wondered a little bit about cannabis, have heard about Ryan's Law or NCSBN guidelines, and have been considering cannabis, this is going to be a great presentation to share with them, because it'll give them an idea of what's coming. But also, we encourage you to invite them to that masterclass. And if you're a student on the platform but you haven't upgraded to a membership, please join us for that masterclass, because we really go in depth on the journey that takes our newbies from just learning about cannabis to actually having a place and a purpose in the world as a cannabis nurse. And we totally want you to get that information. And again, we'll also go over some of the amazing stuff that is happening in the membership, which, if you know how we do, every time we open the membership, we upgrade it with more stuff. And this time is going to be no exception. So make sure you don't miss it. Heather, on that note, what did I mention that I kind of segue? Oh, Ryan's Law. Do you want to talk about Ryan's Law? Ryan's Law is a big deal right now.
Yeah, and just to kind of back off of what you were saying too, Starlight, if you're watching this webinar, if you're part of this today, make sure that you send this to colleagues. This is really the time to start reaching out to the facilities, especially if you are in a legal cannabis state, and more specifically if you're in California, because we do have Ryan's Law, which is now, it was passed in September of last year. It is now the law of California. And Ryan's Law is the Compassionate Access to Cannabis Act, which actually mandates hospitals and healthcare facilities, including nursing homes, to allow a patient to use cannabis inpatient. And this is huge. And so what this means is that a lot of nurses are going to be not just caring for cannabis patients, but are going to be having patients in their facilities who now have the right to use their cannabis. So we do have a webinar that we will be hosting regarding Ryan's Law. It's called Legal and Medical Considerations for Cannabis Use in the Clinical Setting. And so we really want to make sure that we're able to talk about all the legal stuff, all the medical things, the NCSBN guidelines, and really help those nurses and healthcare providers that are being impacted by this law and this new right of patients to really be able to do what they need to do, because otherwise it will put them at risk for lawsuits, because it is now a patient's right to use cannabis in the hospital or healthcare facility if they are terminally ill. If the hospital doesn't let them, that opens them up for lawsuits. And we don't want that for our facilities. We really want them to take action. And one of the things that we know, Starlight, is that a lot of the The reason why they're afraid to take action is because of this fear or lack of knowledge. And so what we really want to do is dispel that fear by giving them the knowledge they need. And I'm really looking forward to having that webinar on Ryan's Law.
Yes, I have put a link in the chat that actually sends you to what we're calling the Ryan's Law Action Center. This is a landing page on Cannabis Nurses Network's website where we've got the full link, the full text, a link to all of the details. This is a really great place for you to share with other professionals who may not be inside of the network, just the basics of what's going on with Ryan's Law. And we're going to continue adding notes to this and stories and more details. And it's really just a great place where if somebody has heard about Ryan's Law or is realizing that it might be something they need to consider, this is where they can go to sign up to join the free masterclass, the free education sessions, whatever we continue to do in the future with Ryan's Law to talk more about it publicly will be happening there. That doesn't even touch on what we're doing as an organization through this year. Heather, do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, so Deb McCauley is running our advocacy and political action group, members group within the network. And we have been doing a lot of work. And so the advocacy that we have been doing with Ryan's Law for the last 3 years has yielded this law in California. We now have this law as of January 1st. But we didn't stop there, right? Because it's a big nation and lots of states. And so we have 14 states that we're focused on. It's basically all the legal and medical states that we're really building out Ryan's Law teams so that we can get this law passed in other states. And so please come and join us for those political action and advocacy meetings because they're very robust. We get a lot done. We don't chat. We actually activate. And this year we are building those teams. We won't get the bill in maybe this session, but we're building out those teams so that by 2023, we'll be able to enact this, get this law started through the legislative process. So this is a really important year for us. California has passed it. Oregon will probably be the second state to get it passed, and Washington is right behind them. So this West Coast is going for it. And you know what happens as soon as we get it done, it starts to spread. So we really do need all of our members to get involved. If you've thought about, being an advocate and doing some work and you didn't quite know what to do, this is what you do. It's not a big heavy weight on you because we're all working together to make this work, and we are being successful. So please come and join us and make us stronger.
Yeah, it's exciting. Also, Kenny will be joining us for the webinar that we have planned, Legal and Medical Considerations for Cannabis Use in the Clinical Setting. And if you don't know, Kenny has a long history in creating a lot of the legislation internationally around medical cannabis. And this is just another really big area that he's had an incredible impact in the trajectory and advocacy for the cannabis industry. And so he'll be joining us for that session along with Marcy, who is a hospice nurse and has that experience of the end of life care, cannabis, medicinal cannabis intersection, and Sandra, who can be speaking a little bit about the social issues. It's going to be a really great session. So that is a public webinar. And so it really is your opportunity to reach out to a friend and invite them into this experience and into this community in a way in which it's essential for their professional expertise, but it's also their first little taste of the good yum that happens inside of Cannabis Nurses Network.
I've got another little thing to say about that. We will be doing this webinar and we will not have the continued education units for it yet. That is in the process of approval right now. But at the end of this webinar, you will have the opportunity to submit an evaluation form. When those contact hours are available, we will then send you a certificate of completion. It will be 1.5 contact hours for continued nursing ed. So we're doing we're trying to do this full force here. On that note, we have another course that we'll be working on, which is also for school nurses, because there's so many laws across the nation right now, so many states that are saying that it's okay for students to use cannabis, but it's putting school nurses in a really weird position. And so we want to clarify that with some continued education as well. So we've got a lot of CE stuff happening this year. So keep an eye out.
When it comes to CEs, we really took, so during our last membership drive, we realized that a lot of you had the opportunity to write off your membership and some of the costs that are associated with being a part of Cannabis Nurses Network with your employer or with your business because you got CEs in return for some of this content. So right now we have Intro to Cannabis Education, ECS for Nurses with the lovely Jana Champagne that you can immediately get credits right now. We are re-accrediting Rooted in Science, Nourished by Nature, which is the whole entire education program from CNNC 2019. And so if you are going to need a big boost of CEUs in the next month-ish, depends how long it takes for us to get it, we have that in reapplication, and that's actually going to go up in hours. And so you'll be able to resubmit or submit for a certificate in that. We have a course on from Matt Cascio about nurse burnout, which is really essential at this time and space. We will also be adding, what else do we have on the, we have the disease and disorders from a holistic perspective. That is an education program for some of you newer members. If you weren't at last year's spring intensive, this is a replay of the really great sessions from that we've gotten certified and created a package for. And so we'll also be adding that. And if we look into the future, I don't know if this is too much of a spoiler alert, Heather, let me know, but we like creating the space for our nurses who are growing into their position as educators and our educators to create their courses on our platform. But this leaves this sort of gap where either they or us as an organization have to go and get their content accredited so that it really brings that value to the nurses. So as an organization, Cannabis Nurses Network is working towards, one of our goals for 2022 is to become an accrediting organization. That's a really big deal, especially if you're creating a course that you want accreditation for and you want to offer it on our platform or anything like that. Just kind of put that in your ideas for later, because it is going to be an opportunity that we'll be able to offer to our members as a very special opportunity moving forward.
And just to kind of piggyback off of that, even though maybe you have a course in mind or you have a topic of expertise or interest to you that you would like to explore, we want you to know that the network really is your first loving audience. And I'm going to throw it to Starlight here in just a minute to talk about the webinar opportunities, because we are creating a more robust speakers bureau process. And part of that is we want you to come and bring your ideas and do a webinar for us with our audience, to your colleagues and fellow members who love you and can really be that gentle audience, first audience for you to explore some of these ideas of something maybe you would like to make it as a program. But it's just starting out as like a webinar or a session. So you want to talk on that, Starlight?
A couple of examples of that have happened recently. I don't know if some of you tuned in for Ariana Ayu's session yesterday. That's a great example of where she has a very specific expertise. We arranged and set up a webinar for her, and as a business owner, we encouraged her to open up the opportunities that she has within her business to offer them to our network. I know that you're probably members of Facebook groups where like promotion is nonstop, or the people who are promoting are squeeby. And we've been really stringent with how we accept and promote within the network. But the truth is our underlying motivation is to help you and your business grow. You in your professional development and in your business in getting clients' attention and growth. And so this is a very key opportunity, aside from the other like group posts and things like that, where we encourage you to talk about what it is you're accomplishing in your world. This is an opportunity where if there's something that you're interested in building, You're welcome to invite our audience to it by creating a learning experience for them that leads to that experience and that benefit for them, right? It's just something to kind of keep in mind. I'm going to elaborate a little bit on the Speakers Bureau thing, or do you want to go
I was
ahead?
just going to say real quick before you do that, if you would like to see examples, if you've missed some of these sessions that our members have done, if you would like to see examples of those, we keep all of those and put them up in a replay. They're in the course called, what's the course called?
Member education sessions.
So yeah, very aptly named, right? So if you go into your membership, your Mighty Network CNN members, and you go to courses, it will actually have your members. What is it called again?
Member education sessions. These are education sessions that have been put on by other members that have been either presenters at CNNC or part of our Speakers Bureau or are moving towards being part of our Speakers Bureau. Yeah, they're juicy. There's some good stuff in there. Yeah. On that note, I've noticed that there's a lot of enthusiasm around being a speaker in our Speakers Bureau for 2022. Real talk, we are doing some reinventing across the board for what that involves and is entailed, especially with COVID and quarantine and events and doing things virtually online. We've realized in our experience and in working with other speakers of how we can set up our speakers for success even more than just saying, okay, what's your thing? What's your pitch? Great, let's do it. Okay, present at CNNC. Okay, now you're in the Speakers Bureau. Because there's more competition in the world, there's more other people looking for these opportunities, we want to make sure that you are ultimately super equipped. So in the Speakers Bureau note, if you are currently a Speakers Bureau member, this also applies to you. We are revamping through 2022 the Speakers Bureau. At the end of CNNC, which we'll touch on in a little bit in September, the people who have gone through the training this year will be the ones who are in the new Speakers Bureau at the end of this year moving forward. So what does that look like for you? We will be opening up the application process in February. But in the meantime, if you want to get a jump on this, your first opportunity, again, is to do a member education session webinar. All you need to do is reach out to me. We can work out some of the details, but let's get you on the schedule. Let's have you sharing your expertise. And it also gives us a really good opportunity to see what you can bring to the table as a speaker for the conference and for Nurses Week, where we'll be having another spring intensive and we'll need virtual speakers, FYI. We will also have some trainings with Maureen McNamara like we usually do. We have the process and it will evolve over time, but the doors of that process will open later in February. And if you're currently a Speakers Bureau member or you want to become one, we encourage you to reapply. Now, not because you need to be rechecked or whatever, but your bio has probably grown and evolved since then. Maybe you've got some certifications to add to the end of your name that we want to make sure is accurate on the website. We'll be updating our speakers database and our CNNC presentation of those speakers. And so this is a really good opportunity for you to refresh new year, new me for your Speakers Bureau appearance as well, in addition to all of this. And so please, if that's something you're interested in, I see those of you who have been trying to jump into the Speakers Bureau private group. Good on you, but we're going to wait and we'll send you into the application process and you will be the first to know when that kicks off later in February. This year, as we're working on training up the people who are going to be in the Speakers Bureau, it culminates in a seriously astounding opportunity in September. Heather, why don't you tell them about what happens in September?
So we have been anxiously awaiting to all gather together again, because the last time that we were able to gather together was in March of 2019 during CNNC. So in September, we will be hosting our first live in-person together CNNC September 1st and 2nd. But before September 1st, we actually have August 31st, right? Is that when it is? 30
Yeah.
days, September, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, 31st. So on August 31st, the day before the actual conference starts, we are hosting for the first time ever one of the coolest things that we could do to help you with your professional development. We are going to be doing headshots. We are going to be giving you opportunities to be in front of the camera and do your bio intro. You know, we always get asked that question. Oh, tell us a little bit about yourself. So we want to hone in and actually be able to capture your intro. We want you to go a little bit further and really look at who are some of the nurse theorists that support your practice? And we want you to talk about some of those nurses from the past and the theories that have helped to develop your practice. We want to make sure that you have an opportunity to have your hair, your makeup done, to really do it up so that at the end of that day, you will have everything that you need. You'll have a solid bio, you'll have a video of your intro, you'll have a little doodad about your practice. You'll have all of these things that you need for your professional development as a legit CNN Speakers Bureau member, to not just be on the website as a Speakers Bureau member, but to use what we have created together through the network to help propel you. This year, 2022, for me, feels like it is the year of activation. We've all worked really hard the last couple of years. We've all been able to survive and thrive and get through things and just, but 2022 is the year of activation. It's time for us to take those ideas, to take all the work that we've accumulated over the years and say, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. And this is how I am going to show up in the world moving forward. And so on that day, on August 31st, we will have this wonderful workshop opportunity for you as Speakers Bureau members, for you who are trying to really create your professional development portfolio, to come and take advantage of that opportunity. Did I give too much away, Starlight? Or
I think that like no, I think that there's some other key details in there that are key. First of all, we all know that as a speaker, you kind of have to have like this arsenal of stuff to send people to get attention. You always go like, crap, I need to do a bio really quick. This bio, yeah, it's good enough. Send it off. Pick the best photo you got. That's a headshot. And like sometimes, I don't know about you, but I can tell when I submit to speak somewhere and I wish that I had my headshot updated, because you see like great photo, great photo, great photo, my okay photo, and then great photo, things like that. We don't want you to have to deal with that ever again. And so the day itself is really about getting everything that you need to be equipped to stand apart and get fantastic results and do it on autopilot. So that's also not just your introduction, but having some video clips where you're on camera getting to talk about who you are, what you do, what you think, your position in the world. Those are things that a lot of you might need for your websites to help you stand out, to make a personal introduction with others. Now, you can try and do that on camera with your phone and through Zoom and record it and put it on your website, and that's good enough for good enough. But after August 31st, you will have a arsenal of things that are professionally produced. That's the other thing. When we're talking about getting you headshots and we're talking about getting you this video, like you're going to get to be a part of content production in a major way that helps you level up professionally, just in the context of like what you have to say and how you appear in the world, that will help you stand out from the rest in a really major way. I'm excited. Heather's been talking about this and planning this for a long time. This particular day is an add-on that's only available to people who have been working through the Speakers Bureau training through the year. So this is something where like it's kind of the culmination of all of this in a major way. It's obviously a must-have for those of you who are going to be speaking at CNNC. But while you might be blocking out your calendar now to see if San Diego is something that you can swing, make sure you put August 31st on there, and we will have more details about that as it is emerging. What happens on September 1st?
At the end of that day, Starlight, we'll also be having what we're calling the Speakers Bureau Sunset Soiree private party. and it's going to be just stellar fun. So you definitely want to be there so you can be part of the party at the end of the day.
If there's one thing that Cannabis Nurses Network does, it's, we throw good events. So if you've gotten to come to an in-person event, you know the vibe and you don't want to miss it. Speaking of which, CNNC is on a whole nother level this year too, Heather. Why don't you talk about what you got going on for CNNC?
Yeah, so I am so excited about the conference. It's going to be great. So on the 1st, September 1st, we are going to be doing a deep dive into the NCSBN nursing guidelines. Okay, we've all talked about them, but when you really look at these guidelines, there is a bullet point for everything, and every single one of us has something on there that we can speak intelligently about. And so for CNNC 2022, we are really going to be diving into the NCSBN guidelines, pulling them apart, and really making this a robust continued education conference. We want to invite new nurses that don't understand that these guidelines exist, nurses that are in a state like California where it's now impacting their practice, and they're scared because they don't know that this is what, and maybe they read the guidelines, but it was over their head, So we really want to take this day to discuss the NCSBN guidelines and make it a part of every nurse's day-to-day practice. And then on the next day, on September 2nd, we are going to be doing a very interactive endocannabinoid system activation day. And so we'll be talking about all, we always say you can support your endocannabinoid system with or without cannabis, right? So we talk about acupuncture and massage and aromatherapy and sound therapy and dance therapy and all these wonderful things in an attempt to support our endocannabinoid systems. But what we're going to do on September 2nd is really activate our endocannabinoid systems. We will have incredible speakers that can come and talk to us about these things in depth. And then we will have breakout sessions where we get to activate. We get to experiment and play with and practice these things so that it can become part of our lifestyle to activate our endocannabinoid systems every single day.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah.
And lots of networking events that'll be stellar fun. And what did I miss?
I mean, there's still so much, but the truth is like what I really love about this is that I always find after going to a conference, I am burned out and exhausted and don't want to talk to anybody for a week afterwards because it took all of my energy, with the exception of CNNC, because we always try to end in a place in which you're recharged, you're ready to go back into the world, you've connected, you've nourished your endocannabinoid system profoundly, and it sets you up for just going back into the world and spreading what you learned instead of going back and needing to recuperate first before and then losing that juice before you can reemerge to have the impact that you have. There are a couple things just for those of you who know. So because of COVID restrictions, because of how things might be going right now, the in-person event is going to be limited to 100 attendees. Now, oh my God, we've got more than that. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. That doesn't mean you can't attend. It means that we will be offering a virtual option that will be happening simultaneously for people who either, if it's not safe to travel or it's, we'll see how it goes. Right now, though, if you are somebody who is like, I don't give a rat's patootie, I have to be there in September, you want to make sure that you go to the website and you're on the list. So when you go to the website, you'll see CNNC up at the top in the navigation. Click there. There is a list that you can join to be the first to find out when your tickets are available. That 100 tickets is first come, first serve. Now, for those of you who stuck with us and frankly were amazing and supportive in being so flexible during 2019 as we were planning 2020 and then everything went off the rails, we promised you that if you bought a full price ticket or a full ticket at that time, that you would have access to the next conference. Because we didn't do one in 2021, you are getting a credit towards your ticket for CNNC 2022. So I have the list of people who purchased tickets. You will be getting a very special advance notice and invite and the way that you can turn in that credit will cover your virtual attendance. Let's just talk about that right off the gate. If like, you can't come in person in September as much as you want to, but you're going to be there, your ticket from 2020 will cover your virtual attendance to 2022. But for those of you who are hell-bent on joining us in September in person, you're going to want to keep your ear to the ground. You will find out first if you're an annual member, because our annual members get first pick. You'll also have a discount code that will still get you 50% off the full event price. And you will get that before we open it up outside of the membership, just so that you're our favorites and you'll always be our favorites. And if you're not a member yet, you need to become a member, because then you'll be our favorite. But you'll hear about that first. But you definitely are going to want to keep your ear to the ground, because that's another thing that we'll be releasing in February. We also are adding on the opportunity for you to make smaller payments leading up to the ticket event or to the event itself, so that you don't have to come up with the money all at once. Sometimes that can be a little bit of a like, shoot, I totally could come, but it's hard to get it all at once. Fine. We're going to figure out a way to do smaller payments so that you can still come no matter what. Does that kind of cover the important stuff with CNNC?
Yeah, I know we'll be talking about it more and more as it keeps coming, but I almost feel like we gave too much. So y'all are lucky you got to hear all that.
Listen, the one just cover all the details, get all the questions out of the way. I don't know. Speaking of conferences.
Yeah. Well, real quick, one thing I do want to say about CNNC is that we really are wanting to make this a collaborative event. So if you have a company you're working with, if you're affiliated with another group, if you would like to see some synergy happening, we do some wonderful networking events outside of the continued education portion where we can really work together and collaborate. And our whole goal at CNNC is to collaborate and to be good partners and to acquire good partners that want to really move the needle with us. So if you would like to be a sponsor, if you would like to get involved, if you would like to collaborate in some way on some of these networking events, there will be an opportunity for that. We'll have another forum for like sponsorship and partnership, and definitely be thinking about that. The other thing is that I will be putting out an event listing, so keep an eye out for that as we begin to do more planning. So the major planning pieces are kind of already in place, but we need people to help move it along. And so if you really feel deep in your core that you want to be part of this planning process, to really be within the inner workings of producing an amazing CNN conference, please sign up for that event, and we will figure out which area is your expertise. And we only want you to do what you're really great at. So we don't want you to come in and do something that feels really uncomfortable. So keep an eye out for that. The other part, I think you were about to say, Starlight, is partnerships and collaboration, again, is super important to us. And we have sparked up a partnership and collaboration with MJ Biz and Emerald X. And so coming up in February, I believe it's February 27th, if I'm not mistaken. February 27th through March 1st, the Emerald Conference will be happening right here in San Diego, over on Coronado Island. Very beautiful location. And this really is the scientific community. It was one of the first cannabis science community conferences this is their 7th annual conference that they'll be hosting here in San Diego. We would love for you to come and be part of that. If we find that enough of our CNN members are coming to this conference, we will provide a networking opportunity for all of us. I will find something completely stellar for us to do while we're here, and really give us an opportunity to gather. That's maybe not such a huge conference, and we're not all stressed out by putting it on. So it would be a lot of fun if you do want to come to California, San Diego in the next month or so. Please sign up. That event is already on the events calendar. So please go in there, RSVP, purchase your tickets, leave comments. Let me know if you would like us to set up a really juicy networking event for us, for those of you who will be at Emerald Conference. And we're very, very excited to be proud partners with Emerald Conference and MJ Biz.
If you're seeing this video outside of the members area, you're seeing it on social media, you're going to see posts. We invite you to join us. Let us know that you're going to be there. And if we end up throwing a networking event, we'll make sure that you know as well, because we want to meet you and we want to get to know a lot of the people who are in our audience. In that same arena, in regards to collaboration and such, we are making a big effort to be present at a lot of different events this year. And so please do me a favor and check out the events calendar on CNN members. We will be at AHNA. We will be at we've got several conferences on the list where we're not only going to just be there as a company or as speakers, but to also have our own little special fabulous events. For those of you who might have experienced some of that in the September, October, December timeline of last year, if you were in New Mexico, if you were in Vegas, you know how we do, and you need to tell your friends because you know they're not going to want to miss out. And so if there's a conference that you kind of have on your radar just for your professional development that's outside of the network, let us know that you're going. And if you think it's an opportunity for our organization to be there and have a presence above and beyond what we would normally do, let us know, man, because it's a really great, like we're in the position this year in a very special way to collaborate on new levels that haven't been available to us previously. And so we're really like taking the horse by the reins and making that happen this year.
Yes.
What else we
One
got?
other thing I would like to say, just regarding a couple of conferences, if you were planning to come to the Cannabis Science Conference, which was supposed to be the first week of February, that has been postponed till May. So please go to the events and check that out and make sure that you cancel your hotel reservations and things like that and reschedule that for May. COVID just wasn't allowing it. So that's one conference that we're also partnering with, Cannabis Science Conference, as well as we will be having a booth at the American Holistic Nurses Association conference. And we had so much fun in Albuquerque with ACNA that I can't wait for AHNA because it's in Albuquerque also. And the network has rented the Rose Manor again. Those of you that know Rose Manor, you know Rose Manor. We are doing that again. And so AHNA conference will be happening June 6th through 11th. And we want you to be there because we're planning to really live it up and have a great time. We've also got a booth. So we want you to come and help us run that booth and welcome all of the nurses into the cannabis nursing community, because we're all in this together for sure.
There's a lot of affinity between the perspectives of cannabis nursing that align very tightly with the American Holistic Nurses Association. And so we're super excited to really be able to open that door to welcome in more holistic nurses. And so if it's something that you can attend in general, come, bring it. Let's show up. Let's make an impact at that event and really blow it out and invite as many of those holistic nurses as we can into the cannabis nursing fold. Let's see what else we got here. To block off some time during Nurses Week in May because it's always popping. Nurses Week is May 6th through May 12th. We're going to have events. We're going to have a virtual summit that we're going to have some of you be speakers at. So if you're thinking about getting your signature talk together or presenting on a topic, now is the time to start putting those bones together. Those are just some things you want to keep on your calendar. We've put a lot of this on the CNN members events calendar, so you can pop in and see those and make sure that you've got the important ones on your personal calendar and can kind of factor those in as you're plotting out your year. What do you think? Should we talk about Ignite, Heather? Is it Ignite time?
I think it's time to, we've given all of the sort of, this is where kind of tidbits of where we're going, but yeah, definitely. We're ready to take all this and ignite the world with it, right?
Right. Yes. I love it. So Heather and I have been talking about how there is, especially as our membership continues to grow, we've got people who are working through their journey, and then there are people who are really ready to take it to the next level. They're ready to step out of their comfort zone, grow their audience, be known as a leader or an educator or an author or a speaker, and really take even the idea of being a member of the Speakers Bureau beyond Cannabis Nurses Network and into their business and into their professional advancement. And so we are creating a program, a professional development track called Ignite. It is a program for people who are interested in systematically building and improving their ability to spread their message to the world. Now, we all know that each of us holds a special vision in our heart above and beyond cannabis nursing. Some of us are really passionate about veterans. Some of us are really passionate about PTSD. Some of us are really passionate about self-care. Whatever your subject matter is, above and beyond cannabis, it's time for you to step out into the world and begin igniting that message amongst others. But the list of things that are required of you to do that can often get in your way and feel a little overwhelming. So, for example, if you want to write an article for CNN, or you want to guest post on a much larger audience and propose an article to them, you got to put a pitch together, you got to put a thing, and then you got to send it, and you got to do it, but are you doing it? And so we have a list of things like that, whether it be presenting to pitch a guest post to a larger audience, whether it's preparing to be on traditional media and get media attention, joining a podcast, creating your signature talk, developing the outline for your very first course. These are some of the advanced skills and abilities that we want to be able to offer during the professional development track for Ignite. Ignite is going to be an additional monthly membership, and it's going to have 2 sessions. One session where we learn all about it and talk all about it, and then the second session, which is more of a co-working session, is where we get it done, right? And so each month we're going to have a focus and a theme to take one piece of this larger map of things that you need to do in order to grow your exposure, grow your audience, and get more clients. We're going to take that and we're going to make it systematic each month to take one piece of those things off your plate and help you actually put it into the world and start getting results. It's time to step out of your comfort zone. Heather, we want them to take our hands. Take our hands and come with us as we help you step out of the comfort zone and into igniting the people around you and the world around you with your message. If this is something it's something we've been talking about, it's something that we're building, it is an additional add-on, but if it's something that you're interested in, I've created a poll in the CNN members group so that you can indicate your level of interest, because it really depends on whether or not we have enough interest as to whether we're doing the program. So if this is something that sounds juicy to you, let us know. And then if all things go as planned, it will be kicking off the first week of March. And again, it's not going to be something where like every week you've got to be doing something. It's twice a week, twice a month, 2 sessions. Learn it, do it. Boom. By 2 months in, you're going to start seeing results. End of story, right? Like if this is something you seriously want to grow your audience, we're not talking bullshit like post on social media forever and ever and hope that you get leads and deal with being shadow banned. No, we're going right to the heart of the methods and tactics that will grow your audience, your attention, and help you convert that into business and help you convert those into clients and convert it into money. But more importantly, create the momentum behind this revolution in healthcare that we're all talking about and that we're all really motivated to do, right? Okay. I love it.
Barbara just says, where do I sign up? So
you will see a poll in the group. Signups will open in February. If we have enough interest, it will kick off in March. It's going to be the first and third Fridays, just to kind of put that pin in the schedule. Replays will be available. If you can't make it, that's fine. But that's kind of the general gist of how it's going. Again, we're double checking to make sure on a broad level that this is something our membership really is ready to like take to the next level and invest in. And so that's why we're talking about it today. But it's something that Heather and I have been banging around in the back end for quite a while. And like, okay, I feel like 2022 is the year we're going to take it to another level. And it's fun for me too, because this is part of a signature offer track that I offer with my clients that I'm getting to actually bring and share and deliver those same results to Cannabis Nurses Network members. And so I don't know, I'm pretty stoked about it.
Yeah. And we need it. I need it. You know, I was like, Starlight, we've got all these things, and these are some of the things that I need and want. And she said, you know, everybody needs and wants these. And if they do and there is interest, definitely go to the poll, indicate if you have interest, because this will be something that is robust. It will take a lot of time and effort and thought on Starlight's part and the network's part and your part. So definitely, if you're interested, we want to be able to facilitate this need, but we definitely don't want to do it if you're not going to participate in it, because we want to make sure that we are igniting the world, and there would be no
and it's an
reason.
investment too on your part too, where it's something where like we want you to set yourself up for success in knowing that you're going to be investing into your own ability to grow and develop in this very specific way, right? And so it's not going to be just like an open group where we're just adding it on to the membership. This is really for people who are ready to take it to the next level and reap the results of that hard work and that investment of their time, effort, and energy, right? This is
I'm ready.
next level type stuff, next level type stuff. Heather, is there anything else on your list? That was everything I had on mine.
You know, we did really good in 45 minutes, and I feel like we gave a lot of information. I would love to be doing one of these sort of, get caught up on the happenings of what's going on. Probably like once a quarter, I would love to do that. So maybe 4 of these a year, where we'll just kind of keep everybody in the know of what's going on. We want to make sure that we're communicating all of the good work that is happening, and let you have these opportunities to be excited about the things to come, so that you don't miss out on all of the good things that are happening.
Yes, for those of you asking about whether this is going to be going out. So this video, we're not just keeping it for members. We're going to share it online. We're going to send it out in email. We're going to send out an email with all of these special notes. You'll be seeing a lot more information coming from us just in regards to posts and paying attention in the group. Also, for those of you who might not know, CNN Members has a phone app. Like, I know you're probably used to popping on Facebook when you're on your phone, but I got to tell you, every time I opt to pop into CNN Members instead, it's a little better and a little more juicy. But if you don't have the app on your phone, you might kind of not be popping in as often as you'd like. And so do yourself a favor, go to your app store, download Mighty Networks, which is the platform, and then sign in to CNN Members. It'll ask you what platform, CNN Members, add your login information, bing, bang, boom, you're ready to go. And then you'll also get our notifications, which we do our very best not to like blow you out with bullshit, right? When we send out notifications, it really is for like important updates, things you want to pay attention to, but also it's how you can stay up on events. You can tune into videos, you can watch your courses. The app is not a half-assed version of the whole platform. It is everything that's on the platform as well. And so it's a really great way for me, instead of binging Netflix at night, I'll pop into a course and just kind of let that play and consume content that way. The chat is available on there. Your inbox is available on there. Connecting with other members is available on there. Like, take it to the next level and add that app to your phone, and you'll love it. Yeah, Nurse Deb, I'm the same way. I'm a member of several different Mighty Network groups. And that's another thing that's really cool about it, is you don't have to download an app for every single one. You can add them, log into them as you would set it up, and then you can switch between them really effortlessly. It's becoming the new place, man. Let's see. I think that's really it. Again, if you haven't joined us as a member yet, I really want to give you a personal invitation to please join us next week for the step-by-step guide on becoming a cannabis nurse. We really talk about some of the common misconceptions and what opportunities exist for you. And this is really a great way. And then we're going to dive into everything that's included in the membership, and our membership doors open. And if you've kind of been on the fence about joining, believe me, if you show up live, you get special things to join then that nobody else gets, right? That's the kind of bonus. So like, mark it in your calendar, do what you can to show up. And if you already a member, you know what you know. So share that affiliate link, invite your friends to join us. This really is the time, with Ryan's Law, with the NCSBN guidelines, it really is the time for people to not just consider cannabis nursing a like nifty specialization that some people are interested in, and realize that it's an essential part of their professional expertise and nursing credibility. And that's the conversation information that might get them in the door, and then they can come and join us and learn more. And more than anything, enjoy the community and develop themselves and grow their business. And I don't know, my favorite part is really all the different people in the group and getting to see what everybody's doing and working on. It's great community. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's so wonderful. Thank you so much, Starlight, for everything you do to keep our community going and flowing. And I'm just so grateful for all of our members that are going to be taking this journey with us through 2022. And I just can't wait to see what we all accomplish together.
Me too. For those of you who have questions, pop them over in the community. We'll be in there answering questions for some of you. If you are nervous about the limitations for CNNC, don't worry. Our members are going to get first pick. You'll be the first to know. You'll have plenty of opportunity. This isn't like it's not. We don't have so many people that it's a cutthroat activity, or we wouldn't make it so limited. And so, no stress. Again, we're just so excited to have you. And please, also, you're going to want to tune in for Acceleration Week, which is the last week of January, where we're doing daily webinar sessions, but we're mixing it up with some of our presenters and bringing in some fresh new content and things you might not have heard before. And so if you're ready for a little bit of fresh juice as well, it's a really great week to kind of get your thirst slaked with some new, fresh education content from CNN. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week. Ciao.
Bye.